Ah. Okay, bye.
Okay.
How have you been?
I've been good.
Yeah? Somebody told me they're reading the whole medical science book.
Nope. Or.
So there- but-
CV ones. It'll be in the spring.
Oh, it'll be in CV1, is that what you said?
That would be one. Yes.
Is there a space there? I mean, I didn't realize.
We're a little split. The first floor will be the mostly public spaces. And then the fourth floor, there's some space up there. That'll be library and offices.
So what's this space gonna become?
That will stay.
Oh, okay.
That will stay, that'll still be student study space and
What else do you use that space for? Now?
oh, the HPEP space,
Yeah.
it is mainly student study.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It doesn't seem like a library. I mean, maybe because I'm old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I expect to see stacks, you know?
And stacks are very
Yep.
important, yes,
Yeah.
and many of our stacks will be facility over at Rutledge when they move over there,
Oh, okay.
so you're still not gonna see them.
Yeah. Want water?
I'm good, I have some.
I have 2 seminars going on at the same time.
My goodness.
So I'm gonna go back and forth. Have my cell phone number in case you need it.
Um, Well, actually, if I think anything, I mean, I would mainly be calling.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna need me.
Okay,
I would just be calling them.
okay.
Okay.
I can do that.
This is interesting. No, come on in. You met Sheila before? Sheila's our librarian.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you. Rania is our president for our postdoc association.
Oh, wonderful.
I'll be right back.
Sandwiches over. Just double checking, yes, that is working. Okay, good. We'll get started in about 2 minutes just to give everybody a chance to get settled and on Zoom and so on. Okay, well, in the interest of time, I'll go ahead and get us started. I am Sheila Green, Medical Sciences Library, and I've been an associate librarian with A&M for about 8 years. And our topic today is finding funding. And the main tool I'm going to be talking about or talking through is Pivot, which is one of the databases that's available to us from A&M. So that could be
Conclusion and
can everybody on Zoom please mute themselves? I'm getting some background noise from somebody. I'm not sure where. Thank you.
the
Okay,
materials,
so
what
for
the
today,
materials be, because I'm looking through other
okay, I need somebody to mute. I'm not sure who. And I'm not sure how to control it from here, so. Okay, all right, I think we're in good shape now. Thank you. Okay, so for today, I'm not necessarily going to do a whole lot on the technicalities of searching the database itself. I'm going to think a little bit more or talk a little bit more about the ways to think about searching for funding, because it is a little bit different than searching the literature in your research area. And we'll look at some of the different types of funding and look at some of the features in Pivot that can help you track opportunities that may not be available right this minute, but maybe 6 months from now. So when I first started at Texas A&M, I was asked by a faculty member to help her find some funding for her work. And she's describing what all she's trying to get funding for, and she's using all of her technical terms and so on, and I'm busily writing all of this down. And I guess you could tell by the blank look on my face that I had no idea what she was talking about. So she drew me this picture and said, "This is what I want funded." I was like, "Oh, okay, I totally get it now." But what this picture is, the little circular or half circle thingy here is a cell. And this little device is something that you can either push down on the cell or pull up on the cell. And these various things here are all various ways to measure how that cell moves. So when you're squishing like a water balloon, when you're squishing down in the middle, it kind of scoots out the side, and you can measure how that changes. If you push it on the right-hand side, it scoots out the left-hand side a little bit, and you can measure all that. And so you're basically measuring the elasticity of the cell. Now, a funder is absolutely not going to be putting out requests for funding or to fund projects for cell squishing. Okay, that's just not the terminology. Even if they use the official terminology, that's not what they would do. I need somebody to mute on Zoom. I've got some background noise from someone. So the search is not a what search like you would be if you're digging into the literature in your field. The search for funding is more a so what search. What problem out there in the world is addressed in this example I gave you by learning more about cell elasticity or how squishy cells might be. And as we were talking through with this faculty member, that can make a difference in cardiovascular research or aging, because as we get older, our arteries get harder, maybe they're less elastic. A drug manufacturer might be interested in a way to say, well, if we could do something to make cells more elastic, then maybe the blood would flow better in the arteries, and we could sell this drug and make lots of money. Or aging in general, muscle cell elasticity changes over time. So that's sort of the who might be interested in that, even if they don't know that they're interested in that. So it becomes what problem is addressed by your research, or when I give this talk to grad students, sometimes I'll talk about, or someone getting more training in a particular field. So, scholarships or fellowships or those kinds of things. So what, just a couple of so what examples that I'll use, if your discipline is meteorology, okay. Anybody that cares about climate change is interested in meteorology. Disaster management folks are going to be interested. Those agencies, corporations that have to deal with disaster management. An oil company with rigs out in the Gulf of Mexico definitely is interested in the weather out in the Gulf of Mexico. So they're interested in funding meteorology projects or people that want to be meteorologists. Agriculture is certainly interested. USDA, some of those organizations. We talked about the electrical engineering example, might be, again, climate change stuff, communications devices, that could be all over the place. Cell elasticity could, again, be that cardiovascular aging, things along those lines. So as you're thinking about your discipline and your research, where might it be applied? Where could it be used, or where could that information be used? And then what organizations that have fellowships or research funds or whatever have funds that would want to solve that problem? So cell elasticity might be American Heart Association. NIH organizations like National Institute of Aging, Heart Lung, any of those guys. Corporations might be interested, somebody that, again, drug development or something along those lines. The calls for funding, again, are not going to go out and say, we want to find out about cell elasticity. Theirs is, we want to find better ways to improve cardiovascular health or something along those lines. So again, using our meteorology example, NOAA, NSF might care, USDA could care. Professional associations will fund fellowships, scholarships, travel grants, things along those lines, student awards. Foundations might be interested, corporations might be interested, whether that's funding people that they can then hire later, or whether it's projects that they want maybe some tech transfer kinds of things. And I've alluded to, there's a huge variety of awards that we can go out for and look for, just kind of depending on what your needs are. So thinking, we'll just take a minute, and I could let Zoom folks unmute if you'd like, or anybody here in the room. What kinds of so what's do you guys research? And then who might care about it? I'll open it up to anybody in the room that would like to share, or anybody on Zoom. Go ahead.
So mine are a special type of cattle antibody,
Okay.
and NSF or NIH or the USDA might care because they're the kind of antibody it is can bind to big viruses, so HIV, SARS.
Okay. So antibody research associated. So it could be NSF, NIH, some of the USDA, others. Okay. Somebody else?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I work with traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
So DOD cares
Okay.
because it's more of a military. That's usually.
Okay. So traumatic brain injury could be Department of Defense. Okay. So that's great. Just kind of, that's sort of the way to think about it. So then we move on to, and there's all kinds of sites and Googling that you can do to look for these kinds of things. But Pivot is a database that is funded between the libraries and the Office of Research here at Texas A&M. And it is sort of a aggregator of all kinds of funding. Okay, so it's going to have funding for research projects, and that can be everything from the, $18 million R01 thing to a local Dade County, Florida travel grant to go to some conference. It is going to be research grants, training programs, collaborations, travel awards, just a bunch of types of things. And the scope is within the United States, so any kind of federal, state, local kinds of opportunities, as well as international. So if there's something out of the European Union or Australia or elsewhere, those are out there. I don't know that they're necessarily ones you would want to chase, but they're at least out there. They will also include private foundations, societies, nonprofits. There's some commercial out there. So, the drug companies or oil companies or whoever. So that's the advantage of Pivot. That's also a disadvantage because you've got this huge array of all this stuff. And then, if you do a search and then you have to try and narrow it all down. I am going to jump over, and it's a lot easier to show a lot of this stuff than it is to tell y'all about it. I've got it in the slides, and I do this for multiple groups. So our access is what you guys would do when you do this. So I am going to minimize this and bring up the library website. So what you would do from either medical sciences library or the main library is choosing the databases button. And then you're just going to search for Pivot. And there it is. So we click on Pivot. And I went ahead, just to save a little bit of time, I went ahead and did my NetID login and so on. So y'all wouldn't have to sit there and watch me do authenticate. To get the most out of this tool, you want to sign in. Or the little sign in person over here in the upper right. And you want to access via your institutional login. Okay, so that's going to get you all the bells and whistles. And since I've done this a few times, it defaults to A&M College Station. If it's not showing that, you just kind of scroll down through the list till you get there. So you've got A&M, and then I sign in. Okay, and I have administrator rights on here, so there's a few extra things that it's showing up, but this is, the basic idea of what this looks like. If I, again, just kind of stick to my, get rid of this extra one, stick to it, I can either search, again, my so what kind of thing, whether it's, climate change or whatever, or I could search discipline. So, meteorology or antibody research or, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and spelled it right. Okay. Just do a very generic search to start. And there's not a lot out there on this one, but the things that you want to notice or just kind of do automatically as you're looking at this, notice I've got some non-US stuff here that I'm not particularly interested in. So the first thing that I always suggest folks do over on the left is get your currency to US dollars. So that went from 70 some to 28. And look at applicant type. So, and I'll just show all of these here. You have early career and emerging in field, grad student or pre-doc, just wherever you fall in this group. So I'll just pick early career and emerging. So that brought me in. Most of these are, more scholarship kinds of things. But, maybe this one is of interest. And just to show you what one of these opportunities looks like, regardless of what all is here. It'll give you some info about the funder, some of the details about the money. You can kind of confirm your applicant type here. Things to pay attention to are activity location. Some of them want them to be in a particular place that you do the whatever it is. Some of them have restrictions on citizenship. A lot of them that stay US citizenship are also open to naturalized citizens. So if you look at this and you're an international student, I'm not sure if I can do this or not. When you look at the details, it's US citizen or have a green card. Okay, so don't get scared away right away on the citizenship part. But this goes into the eligibility and so on. This is just summary information. The website is going to be the real deal as far as, okay, this is the actual details about this opportunity, eligibility, forms, dates, all the things. So again, summary, but you always want to go to the website to get the actual details. But what is also useful on these, if we scroll down a ways, I just, slammed meteorology in there as my search term to get things started. But they have some keywords that might be more useful for what I actually want. So atmospheric sciences might be more useful. So I can just click on that and it goes off and does a much more robust search with those keywords. So that's kind of taking advantage of that who cares, because the people who care are going to use some of those keywords. So even if you're not sure what the who cares is, sometimes you can just take advantage of following one that looks decent and going on to others. You do need to redo the filters. That's one of the negatives here. So again, I'm just kind of hitting those. The other filter you may want to pay attention to, depending on when you need the money, is the deadline certainty, confirmed versus anticipated. Confirmed is going to be those opportunities where the money is there, it has been sent out to the world, and there is a confirmed deadline of, August 31st or whatever the date is. What they do with anticipated, if there's a particular organization that has done an award every year for the last 5 years, that's $10,000 or $50,000 or whatever, they will for the next year put it out as an anticipated award. That doesn't mean, don't pay any attention to it, but just kind of keep it in mind if you get all excited about an opportunity and then realize, oh man, that's an anticipated one. What you can do with it, you can, just have it certain limit directly. So if I just want confirmed ones, then these 52 are all ones that are money I can use right now. And again, you've got the details from there. So proposal confirmed, they've got, various details confirmed. If you are still kind of browsing, for lack of a better term, and there's an anticipated one that you're interested in. Let's just say this particular one. This is from the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research. Okay, so we look at it, citizenship's unrestricted, it's in the US. Yeah, this is one that I'm interested in, okay, but it's still anticipated. What you can do, since you signed in with your institutional ID, is track that opportunity. What will happen then is when something changes with this, like, yay, the deadline's been submitted, you'll get an email that says, hey, something changed. Click here and go to it. You can also do other things like share it out. If maybe it's not one that you're particularly interested in, but somebody else in your lab might be. You can send that to them, and that's just with the share. Curate is one that I have as an administrator, so I won't bother telling you about that one. But that's a way to track these or keep track of ones that may not be a done deal yet, but they're potential opportunities. Other things, any questions on that part so far? Okay. If I go back to the search results. Okay, so I'm back to my original list. You can do a few other ways to limit it, like keywords, if there were particular areas that you were interested in. So you can narrow those lists down a little bit more if you want to. One question I do get on occasion from international students is, okay, I want to try and eliminate those US citizen ones. What you can do with that one is, once you've done your basic search, if you go to advanced search, and I'll just go back to just get our initial one started here again. Okay, so I just did the quick atmospheric sciences one here. But international students, you want to scroll way down here to exclude opportunities. And you want to scroll down to citizenship. And you want to say not US. Scroll. Okay. Scroll down to, okay, United States. Okay, so we're saying not United States citizenship. Go ahead and include those unrestricted and unspecified ones, because you still want to pick those up, and then do the search. And then any of these 64 at this point should be ones that are open in some way or another. And again, unfortunately, we have to still do the US dollars thing and the individuals. But that's a way to approach it, to kind of eliminate clicking on US citizen ones that then you find out that one's not going to work. But again, look at the details, because a lot of those are a little bit more open than you would think. Any questions on those? Finding an individual opportunity. Okay. The other way to approach this is sort of from the who cares category. This search is not nearly as robust as what we've got with Pivot. Okay, so this is a little bit weaker. But if I have, let's say, I start typing in agriculture. These are all funders that have the word agriculture in their name. So it's like, they must be interested in agriculture stuff. So I'll just pick this one. Okay, so that's the funder. Okay, so they've got one thing, which is, again, is not great, but whatever. They have a letter of intent anticipated anyway. It looks like this is out of Canada, but the citizenship and the location is anywhere. So it may be something that you could do. I don't know. But that's the approach for the funder one. Like I said, not great, but it's okay. Another approach, awarded grants. This is searching previously awarded grants. And again, this one is not a great search either, but it's somewhere to start. So in the last, so far this year or last year or whatever, US dollars, in 2022, there were 33 grants that were awarded out of their records anyway. And you can look and see, okay, wonder what this one was about. And you can get the abstract and a little bit of the idea. But where it's useful is you can then take a look at the award ID, maybe get an idea of what somebody else got funding for with that organization, so that you can see what they're interested in, so you can see what their who cares is, and so what, and then kind of spin your application towards whatever it is they're looking for. And then finally, conferences, again, not great. but you can browse by topic area, or you can search. If there are conferences coming up that are looking for submissions, that's just sort of a separate thing that you can take a peek at and say, oh, I need to go to a conference in the next 90 days, wonder where I can go. So they've got some submission deadlines and keywords and locations and so on. But another thing to keep in mind with these is also looking at, do they offer travel awards or scholarships to come to the conference, or some sort of student competition or postdoc competition or something like that. So that's just another way to get ideas for opportunities. And you can find out where the International Mango Symposium is. So you always want to check that out. So with that, let me jump back to the presentation and make sure I didn't miss anything. Yes.
So, the search settings, so like when you excluded, those search settings carry over to all of the other, like you search by, the other, so like you search by, awarding entity.
Oh, all of those others,
Yeah,
probably not.
okay.
Yeah, I think the exclude is just going to work. Yeah, because the advanced search is just on here. Let me make sure I'm not lying. We go to browse funders. Okay, so they don't have an advanced search. Let me see. Okay, so conferences does. Okay, so it's, you can do a little bit with conferences by keyword or by where you want to go, or that kind of thing. Awarded grants, advanced search. Okay, so you can look for particular values, dollar amounts, those kinds of things. So you can limit it a little bit. But it looks like the exclusion stuff is just for the funding opportunities. Good question. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, okay. Current slide. Okay, better. Okay, so key things to remember. You want to do that access by your institutional login so you can get the extra goodies. Start with broad topics, and then you can always narrow down with keywords or get more specific later. Limits you're going to be most interested in on the left are the applicant type, the funding type, or currency, and I'll show you funding type in a minute. I did skip that one. The keywords, funder site for the rest of the story. We talked about anticipated versus confirmed, tracking or sending opportunities. I'll show you saved searches also. That was the other. Okay, so that was the other thing I left out. Okay, so let's say that, again, I'll start with my, actually, let's do, or at least a little medical. Okay. Okay, 1,500. Again, US dollars. The funding type is just where you can limit what you're looking for. If you just want project grants for research, you can limit to that one. If you're just looking for fellowships, if you're just looking for scholarship kinds of things, travel awards, you just want money to get to a conference, you can narrow stuff down. So for example, if I was just interested in travel awards, then those would show up there. So that was the funding types that I didn't show you earlier. But let's say you want to keep an eye on any future opportunities. You don't have any particular one in mind that you're tracking, but there are, you want to see what bubbles up, a month from now on pancreatic cancer travel awards. Once I have my search to where I kind of like it, I can do the save search, call it something, and then you'll get a weekly email of any new or updated opportunities as a result of that search. And then you just save that off. So if you're basically telling it once a week, go out and see if there's any more pancreatic cancer travel opportunities for me. If there are, you get an email with that, and you can then do the click here kind of thing and go take a look at that opportunity. Same idea with any of those. So it's sort of a broader version of the tracking kind of thing. I do suggest you kind of get your search narrowed down to at least the funding types and applicant types and all that kind of stuff. If you just do a plain old pancreatic cancer search, you're going to get inundated with 60 some email opportunities every week as new opportunities come out. So kind of narrow it down as you're going. Okay, so we looked at the funders. I got my note to myself to modify the slide. Okay, obviously I pulled that and modified it and forgot to remove the note to self. Okay, so think in terms of the so what and who cares when you're doing the searching. Don't forget about professional organizations, foundations, people, corporations. They have money to give away, just like the federal funding. Links to get there, start broad, narrow down, track the ones you want to keep, save searches, things along those lines. And questions, comments? Anybody on Zoom? Yes.
The advisor feature in where it will, you give it keyword and you supposed to refine and send you new funding opportunities.
I have not played with that, so I can't give an opinion on that one. It generally works off of, and I didn't go into the details on this, but you can set up a personal profile within Pivot. You're telling it various, so I don't know that I have much on my profile because I don't use it. Okay, so there's a little bit there, but you can set up, affiliations and honors and degrees and so on and so forth. And I'm not sure how it found 56 publications for me, which is why I kind of have some doubts about that one. But it will then try and match you with funding opportunities. And I'm pretty sure there is functionality where you say yes to this one, no to that one, and it learns. That's not even that smart.
No, so I was hoping that I had set up a Pivot profile at a different university, or a different department.
Okay.
And when I got here, I tried to set up a new profile and it found my old one. And I was like, okay, cool. My research interests have changed. I went from environmental microbiology to infectious disease.
Okay.
And so it's still pulling up funding opportunities from like my old department.
Okay.
And there's no way that I could find where you can say, no, this is not applicable to what
The
I am doing.
opportunity level. Okay.
And so I was just kind of hoping.
I am going to suggest, so the profile that it's looking at is still your old
No, I updated all my information.
All your new stuff, okay. So you have new information in it. But it's still sending you the old stuff?
Yeah. And
Okay.
it says that it will over time or adjust. But like I'm working with Lyme disease and Newcastle fever, and out of probably 1,000 results.
Okay.
The other ones, I don't remember what they were, but they were not even close to what I was doing. So I thought it was a good feature to catch funding opportunities that I might not be searching,
Right,
but I don't want to search through
yeah,
funding opportunities. So I was just,
yeah,
I
it sounds like a feature that still needs some work then. If it's remembering your older stuff. What you may want to do, see if I'm seeing anything obvious off the top of my head here. Maybe do a little searching for your new topic area and track some opportunities, even if you don't really care, but mainly to let the advisor know that you're interested in those particular opportunities and see if it learns better.
okay.
That against it, because the curated, that's, yeah, that's some other ones. Yeah, I would try and go that direction. Because then at least you're trying to signal to it, you know, forget this other stuff. That's the main thing I have for now. I'll do a little looking around on the website and their help text and see if there's anything else. I can always email Stacy and have her disperse that out to the rest of y'all if I find something amazing that I'm just not aware of. Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? Okay, well, great. I'll just give our, contact us kind of information here. The Ask MSL at library.tamu.edu is sort of our generic contact us email address. Questions there get dispersed out to one of the medical librarians. And it is always going to go to one of the medical or health sciences librarians, so you won't get somebody that supports the Department of English or something, trying to do your PubMed searches or help you with other things. So feel free to reach out if you need anything. And I appreciate you guys. And have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good. Hopefully you'll find out that's a great funding one.
them both on the menu
Uh-huh.
before I selected
What
which
is it,
one.
Rob?
The brown, yeah, it's like the turkey and bacon, I think.
Oh, yeah. What's the one chicken?
Yeah, perfect. You mind if I take an extra? Did you need help carrying them anywhere? Carrying the bags?
Oh, I think, they'll come back. So
Okay.
we'll try just bring the power back.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good one.